Okay, so last time we covered the table visualization and the sorting issues. We actually resolved those issues as well. Now I have another the visual for you, which is again very important, and why it is my favorite, because it is exactly the carbon copy of Excel pivots. Like you remember in pivots, we have data. We can summarize the data in all the directions, column wise, row wise. Then we have sorting, conditional formatting type of a lot of things. So this is exactly how I see this. The visual. This visual actually is called matrix. This also we use to show the data. So let's quickly start this. And then I'll tell you what is the difference between table and the matrix. Now, for example, if I just simply convert this to a table, first of all, now you see, if let's say I want to present the data based on the country, and let's say I want to see the age group based on this country, right? Based on this country. Now, and at the same time, let's say I want to see the sales and the item shift. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to put the sales here and let's say the item shift here. Now in the table formatting, what happens? You don't have the uh, the area for the sub levels. Like for example, inside the country, if I have to see specific age group, and then in the age group I put one more the field. So how I'm going to see that? That is not available. This feature is not available in this thing, because there's just a one field here. Now I'll show you actually what exactly I mean. So if you create a matrix, see in the matrix what happens, they give you the option to add the headers uh, in the row as well as in the column. Make yourself comfortable with this. This actually is a pivot, I can tell you this. Row, column section, and the value section. So you have only three sections. Whatever we have to calculate, plus, minus, average, we will put that here. In the row section, obviously, this is my row section, and this is my column section, right? So they have actually given these different categories. Now let me put this. So first of all, let's say I again put the country here. See, I'm putting here the country, and then what I do, I put the age group. Let's say, here, I put the age group here. Look at this now. Okay, so this is the main difference. And then let's put the sales here. And you can have more items. I mean, in case if you want, you can display 2 items as well here. Okay, 3 items as well. So you see, this is how, you see the report also in the pivots. So this is how this report looks like. Okay, so this is very different from this view, because here I can have the first these columns, and then under the column I can have more items here. And not only this, like if I have to put country-wise category also, so I'm just going to put the category here. You see that? Okay. So again, according to your requirement, you can use these options. Let's just remove this table. Now, matrix is a visual which actually a lot of things goes into the visual. Okay, so be attentive here, and a lot of things are there which can confuse you when you start the first step when you are starting the visual. Okay, now here, if I click on these buttons, I can expand them, I can collapse them, right? This is how it is. This is what I can do with these. You see that? So these are the collapse, expand buttons. Anytime I have to see the information, I can go and see the information here. Okay. Now for the time being, what I do, I will just simply put the sales, not the item shape. I'll remove this. Okay. So now you understand, if I put the rows here, this is how it's going to look like. Same way, the beauty of the visual is you can put the categories in the column section also. First of all, let's do one thing. Let's increase the font so we can see this clearly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now you see, if I put, so I have here age group. Now I want to see with the age group, one more field I want to see. Okay, which is shop name, for example. I put here the shop name, or maybe let's do one thing. Let's put the date here. Okay, and in the date, let's keep this year. Let's keep this year only, right? Now, this is what you need to understand. See this. Now, the moment you have multiple headers in the column section, the fields basically, there is a separate option which gets activated here, drill on row and column, you have not seen this option anywhere so far. And this option is only here. Okay. Now, what exactly happened here? The moment I remove this from the column section, this option will automatically remove. Now, what is happening, right? See, the first thing is that because I have only one level information in the column, so there's no need for me to use the drill. If you remember the drill option, this option, right? We have already discussed this. Now, if I click on this, what happens? Because you have here two levels, country and category. So we'll not waste the time on this. We have seen this. If I click on the France, you see that I will be able to see the France data. And please understand, I'm not actually clicking on this plus or the minus sign. Just click on the country. You will see the next level because of this option. And also because you have here two categories, two fields here. Otherwise, drill on option does not work. I told you, right? If I remove this. So this way, now I have to go back. I have to go back to the previous. So I click here, right? So if I click on India here, you don't have to click here. Just click on this, India. You see, I can see this. So it means the drill on option is available here, right? And there's nothing new. There's nothing new. But in this visual, because it's data, if I have one more field, as I said that we have, let's say the age group here, right? Now here, in order to use this option for the columns, what if I want to click on the 2020 and then based on the 2020, I like to see the age group, correct or not, right? So this drill on option, which you have activated, please change this to column. You have to do this. So if I do this, then if I click on this 2020, you see I have the information. And this is what exactly the drill on option does. And then again, I have to go back. So I can, this go from the column to the row part and then further, based on the number of categories you have created, you can always check the data, right? So if you are, like for example, if I click here France, you see that I am here. I can see the France data. Now, particularly in the France, if I click here, then I will have the data of the France based on this age as well. So this is how it is. I think it's very easy, self-explanatory, provided somebody tells you that, drill on option is here. It's there, right? So let me just go and move this up. So this is how it is. Now, when you go and move this up, so what will happen now that when you use this drill up, you are back to the year. You're back to the year, right? But in this case, in this country section, you still are on the France, and this is where you get confused that how to do it, because I don't have this drill up available now, this drill up. It's not clickable, isn't it, right? See, both the sites drill on is activated. Now, if you have seen the data, right, whatever the data you wanted to see based on these sub levels, and now you want to go back to your original data, which means you want to go back to the country and you want to go back to the date, right? So one side, this option, either you will have row or column selected. So you need to make sure that if one side is done, then you click on the row section and then you can click here, drill up, so that you will have the entire data again, right? This is how it is. The concept remains the same. The fundamentals remain the same. But here, since the data we have, it's actually 2 level on the column side and 2 level on the row side. So make sure if you want to go back to the original data, you should have this row and column, both one by one, tuning in. Okay. Now, what about the next? And as I said that anytime if I have to click on this plus sign, this can show me the data underneath that particular country, right? Because right now I'm not clicking on Russia. I'm clicking on this icon. If I click on Russia, for example, like this, if I click on this Russia, let's just, first of all, let's come back to this. Okay. And now let's say click on the Russia. See that. Now I'm into the Russia details. Okay. So drill up. So when you use the plus and the minus, you don't see that option working because it means that basically you're trying to expand the area and you want to see that information. Okay. So these are the things which can confuse you. But now because I've shared it with you, it will be easy for you. And anytime, as if you remember that, like for example, I have this data with me now. If I click on this particular part, go to the next level hierarchy, what will happen? If you remember this will take us to the next category. Irrespective of there is no relationship then with the first category. On the row section, we have the second category. We have the second field as category. So it means if I click on this, I should be able to see the category. which is again has nothing to do with the country because it is on the overall process, right? Because we are not using now this drill option. We are simply clicking here. Now, since there is no other next hierarchy, so this option is grayed out. So let's come back here, right? Let's come back here this way. Now, if I actually go and click on the column section, and now I say that, okay, I want to expand this. Now, what will happen? Do you have any next level created in the column section? Yes, we have age group, right? So if I click on this, I should see here the next age group level, which again has nothing to do with the date, specific date, the year. It's on the overall basis, which is always the case. So options are the same. Okay. So I again go and click on the drill up, right? And this is how we can play around with these options. At any time, if like, for example, you are now in the column section, if you use the expand all down one level in the hierarchy, what will happen? It will start creating the combinations of the columns. If I have here, let's say 4 columns or 3 columns, I mean, I have put the 3 fields here. First 2 fields will come, and then, again, I will click on this, then the concatenation will happen, those combinations. If you remember right now, it's all about date and age, which means that if I have 5 date categories, age categories, 0 to 6 months, and then 6 to 1 month, 6 to 1 year, or 1 year to 2 year, based on all the years, this will actually show up here. Let's click on this. Okay. Let's click on this. So when you click on this, so you have the 2020, you have 2021, and same way you have scroll bar is generated because the view is not small. So you see, I have all the information here, right? I have all the information here. Okay. And these are the totals based on 2020. And then if you go here, this is based on 2021. I mean, these are very simple things. And this is a total of 2022. And this is the entire total. And of course, you can off them, which we will see. Okay. So again, let's go back here. And now same thing I can do with the row section. Oh, sorry. If I click on row section, now I want to see the expand all down. So what will happen? We will see that in one go, all the countries with their categories in one go, everything will expand, isn't it? Right. So I mean, in case if you want to have look for the entire data without going in each of these these plus sections, you can do that very easily. See that the entire data is now expanded, right? And after this, there is no other option. All right. So this is something which you should know. You should be comfortable. And of course, your audience should also know if they have to look at the data from different angles. Okay. So this is the matrix for you. And remember that, as I said, that if I don't put here the age group, for example, I don't put the age group, right? Now, this particular icon will not be there because now you don't have that drill on option available for the columns because there is just a simple one column, right? So this all depends. So let me put this back here like this. So this is all about this field section. Okay. Now let's see that what are the other ones, the important ones. So first of all, we have the layout. Well, in the layout, we have seen in the table also, guys, that you can change these, the layouts. I mean, if you are looking for some specific color, you can always go and use these. Okay, I'll go with the default, for example. Then you have the layout. This is the style part, and then here you have the compact, outline, tabular. So how does it work? For example, if I click on the outline, you see that this is the outline. And if I click on the tabular, then this becomes tabular. Now, actually, you can't really find out the difference, right? So there are sometimes, in your visuals, there are some features which you click and you then ask yourself why it is not working. I mean, I don't see any change. It may be looking for some specific kind of, that the option which enables those, which actually helps you in, visualizing those the changes, right? So what I mean to say is that, so what we will do is that by default, like this is my the compact. So what I will do, I will simply go and first of all expand this. So we will say, let's go to let's use this expand all down. Okay, so I'm just going to expand this. Okay, and yes, and one more thing I can do, I can expand this using column section also. So there we go. Now I have the entire data with me. Okay, now let's try to see that the layout, because I really like this option. In pivots also we have this option. In obviously, I mean, there it's somewhere here in the pivot table design. So compact is the one which right now you can see. If you want to use the outline, just give it a try. Now I think it's clear, because last time when I was clicking, changes you were not able to see, right? Though they were happening. So now you see that basically what it does, it puts the totals on the top, and this France against the France, the another section gets created. So one can always, I mean, you can check all these options one by one. Compact is the one where they are using just a one column, and this happens in the pivots also. And in the pivots also, they have used the same terminology, compact. They're using the one column only, and they are putting these fields here. So this is also fine. Just, I mean, see, but for me, the tabular is the one which I really love. And in pivot also, I use the tabular. So when you put the tabular, this is how it looks. So the total actually comes here, not on the top. And of course, the country and the year, they get separated with these columns. And I really want to see this in this way. I mean, so I mean, just have a look at these options, try these options. If you want to repeat the row headers, well, like country, Germany, India, all these things, if you want to put them, you can, right? I'll not go with this option. I'll keep this in this way, right? So this is again something which we should know, isn't it? So then the grid part is there. So horizontal grid line, the vertical grid line, these are all there. You can change the color in order to see. We have covered this in many visuals, right? So I want to change actually the color of this. We can see, you see that, right? So I mean, if you want, you can keep these, the grid lines. I'll not go with this one. Same way you have the vertical one. Maybe I can go with the one. See, the vertical one is there, right? You can, I mean, again, go and see if the color you want to change. I'll go with this one, which is okay, right? And let's just keep this width as maybe, yeah, this one. Okay, fine. Anyways, so then we have the border section. Border section, you are very well aware of it, right? So this is going to put the borders over here, right? So we have different options here. That's nice. Like for example, I want to go with the left one. So you see that there's a left one border, and then there's a right one border, which you will see here. See that, this border, the right one. Now, if I keep this width as something like 4 and 5, I think the changes will be more clear to you. You see that? The same way, I mean, you can have the bottom as well. You can have the top as well. I mean, this is how it is. Well, anyways, I'll not use, so I'll keep the top and the bottom, and right, there's no need. And of course, this width, we will keep this as maybe like 2, right? I mean, just see that in case, if you think that this is, I mean, you have this sort of taste, because after all, this is a table and it should look good, isn't it? So we have this information. I can change the colors. I can use maybe this color. Let's go with the theme. Yeah. Okay. And so that's it. Yeah. So I'm not going to keep the left one. That's it. So we have the top and we have the bottom. No, I need this left. Left looks good to me. Yeah, fine. And we can have this. All right. Okay. So this is fine. Then what is, yeah. So options, the padding and the global font. So global font size basically helps you in, overall increasing the font size of this. So including the headers. So you can see that this is how the font will look like. Okay. So I'm just going to keep this as like something like 8. Padding again, padding, right? The distance, right? So distance of all these. So padding will make this more, I think, presentable like this. So you can see that we have the data coming this way, right? So we have more space now in these blocks. Okay, so I'll keep this font back to 10 or whatever. I think it was 12 because my headers, they also, the font is also, it's impacting by this, the font size of the headers. Okay, anyways. The blank row, yes, blank row, sometimes I use this blank row, inserts the blank row, you can see here, right? So now you see, when you go and do all these testings, you can, if you think that you want to actually don't want to use some particular option which you initially thought, you can always turn off. Like for example, now the grid lines, vertical grid lines, there are too many things going on. So I prefer that, I'll not go with where are those, the grid lines? I'm just off this. I want to keep this data in this way, your choice. Okay. So So in the blank row, what I will do, maybe I can have some, this type of the color, right? Because it's a blank row. And in case if I want to insert some border, you can insert the border as well, which I will not do, right? So transparency is something, well, we can keep this. No, that's fine. I'll go with this. Okay. Yes. In case if you need this, or maybe we can try some other color as well, like this. Yes. This too, in case if you want. So border, the blank row color is fine. Then we don't want to border this. Now this is a value section. So in the value section, of course, as I said that, we can change this, the font size as 15, 16, whatever it is, specifically for the values, not for the headers. So I'm just going to keep this as something maybe 8 or 10. Yeah, 10. You have the text color, you have the background color, right? So alternate text color. You have seen all these things, isn't it? So text color, the background color, and then the alternate color. So I really don't want to go and use any of these options, right? This is fine with me. And so this is the another option of switch values. See that? Switch values in row groups rather than columns. So this is again something you would like to go and experiment. So what it does, actually, it puts your these values, they will put in front of these categories. Just let me just click here. Let me show you that. Now see that nothing has happened here, right? Now the option is here, but it's not working. As I said, that maybe there is some specific thing which I need, first of all, in order to, make this work for that option, right? Because it's asking for the switch rows. So what we will do is, now see this, because initially when you learn these things, it's not so easy in case of metrics. Now you see, now I have the sales here, right? We all know this is a sales. Now what I will do, let's say I want to put more data. Of course you can, isn't it? So you can have the sales function. Okay, look at this now. What happened? Sales and the cost, they went into this option, right? So you can see the sales, you can see the cost, isn't it? If I switch the row, then what will happen? The sale and the cost can come over here as well, which means that under each of the header, they will start showing you sales and the cost. So since we did not have this value section, right? So that option I was not able to see what's happening. So if we go back to that, this option in the value section in the options here, yeah, see, right? So if I off this is how you're going to see sales and the cost, right? Sales and the cost, sales and the cost. But if you switch this, then what happens? The data goes here, which again, I think it's fabulous. This is fabulous, isn't it? So, in this way, if you want to keep this, you can. According to your, the position, what exactly you want to show. I'm just giving the example. Column headers, guys, column headers. So all these columns, we like to bold them, right? So I'm just going to bold them and I'm going to give them some different color. Maybe that's how I use this color. Alignment all in the center. We have already done this part, and I prefer using, let's say, this background color should be, yeah, this one maybe. Okay, so this is fine. What else? Well, okay. So this is your title alignment, the years and the country. So I'll keep them on the right side. Yeah, fine. Header alignments, these are the headers, which is already has been taken care of. Okay. So then auto size, we don't have to touch. Well, these are all the things. Then you have the row header as well. So row headers, obviously, these are the headers, right? These are your headers, the row headers. So if you want to do, let's say I change this to, I make them bold. I like to keep them as, let's say, yeah, like this. No, maybe 10. Okay. Text color, you want to change the text color, you can. See, this is how it is, right? Same way, the background color as well. So I'll just keep them black only. The background color, we can check. Or do we want the black background color? Yeah, this is how. Let me undo this. Let's not touch this part. Okay, so same again, alternate background. No, we don't, sorry. Yeah, so we don't need to do anything, right? So then we have the column headers here. In the column headers, so we have done this. Okay, we have done this. Sorry, oh, header, yeah, fine. Okay, so So let me just come here. Let me come here and see that I can expand all, I can collapse all. I have not told you this option. I'm just going to say, okay, let's just have collapse. Okay, I want to come back. Yeah. So column header, row header, we have covered, correct? And then you have the column subtotals, which is on, row subtotal, which is on, right? So subtotals basically are your, with these, the subcategories, the totals you see here. And then finally, there is another total, which is the main total, right? So when you just do some practice on these things, you will understand all that, right? And of course, when I go down here also, we have the total. You see that? So here also we have the total, right? So this is the row. This is for the the row total, and this is your column total. This one, because 9257 is the total of these. So these are what? These are all what? Left to right, you are moving. In Excel, the column move left to right. So this way you can remember this. Okay. Now, if I don't want the total, for example, this subtotal, if I don't want, you see that the total is gone. So the total is gone, right? Right. And if you want the total, you can always put it back, the total. And if you on this, then you see that they also give you one more option that under this, the total section, if you for column level answer, you want to show the total, you can do that, right? So I mean, I will not go into all that things because this is something will make the entire visualization very clumsy. But let's say like this subtotal level is there. So I can just put here, then why don't you become the grand total? And now you can see that here we have the grand total, right? Because this is a part of under the column subtotal. So this should not be the grand total. Actually, this should be the age total like this, right? This is how. So you have the age total here for every this particular thing. Yeah, this is how it is. Okay, so these are the options. And for column level options, so if I click on this column level, you can have customize this one by one as well. Like for example, if I simply say that, let's say I select the year, then I go and say that this is my year total, because you don't want to show these the headers as same, So I can have the year total. And then if I want age group wise, I want to show this as age total. So I mean customization also you can do. So now you will see here the age total, and the total is the year total. Okay, so these options are there. Okay, so right now what we will do is we will just reset to default. Okay, so I've explained you this thing. That's it. And so for example, I don't need actually the total, and I'm just going to off it. Now, same thing you have for the row subtotal as well, as you can see in this, the visual. Here we have these totals, right? Yeah. So if I say that I don't want the total, see the total is gone. The total is gone, right? And if I, let's say, want to keep the row totals, then like per row level means that for every row, how many fields we have here, country and category. So I can on this. Okay. I have personally not used this. I mean, I have never went into this type of a detail. Overall, I just use conditional formattings and the fields I want, but these type of things like covering the subtotals or the totals, I mean, I have not used it, but the options are there. So same way, like for example, you have the country here. So for this country, you can have the country total, So let's go in the row section here under the category row level, this one. So I can write here that this is my country total in this way. Okay. And then for the category, I can write here the category total this way. Okay. So let's go back here. So we have the country total here. And you see there, the category total is also there. So all these are the category totals, which means that this is the total of this. Okay. And yeah, fine. I guess hope you have understood this, right? So right now, what I will do, I will just off this option. I will off this option, and I will have just a total over here. Okay, and back to the same terminology, which is only using the total. I mean, because I have clicked here. The moment you will on this, you will find that the same, the options that you have used, they are there. I mean, in terms of the name. Okay. So for me, this is right now fine. So you can, name differently the totals. That is what the plan. And if you have more headers, say like after country and category, then you will see those per levels again. So here, I mean, you will accordingly then when you click on this, the row subtotal, and click on this, in the drop down, you'll see those three options, right? Because that's there to customize. All right, now we have the direct grand totals also here. Okay, so grand totals, I mean, if you, this is for the basically that what we call the formatting part, right? So I just I'll not, I mean, since we don't have the columns, I guess we'll just use the grand total, the row grand total. We'll try to format this. First of all, I want to see this. If I have to see this, I will change the font this to 12. And yeah, you see that font is changed. And the text color, the background color. So I want to keep this, the background color, something like this. Okay, if you say apply to labels, it will be applied to these labels also. Okay, so you see that, right? So I mean, this is how it is. Okay, so yeah, this is how it is. And the text color is, if you're interested in the totals, you can. So customer formatting section is also there. Okay. Okay, what else we have? Specific column. Yeah, so in the specific column, if I have to target any specific column, first they said that you can work on the subtotals and the totals. Then they said you can work on the titles, these titles. Then they said that you can work on the values, which is all this. And then they said that you can work on the column headers and the row headers. And then finally, they said you can work on these totals as well. I mean, in terms of the formatting. Now, this is something we have already covered, right? So we have sales apply to headers, apply to subtotals, apply to total, apply to value. By default, this activity is for values and for the subtotals. And for the subtotals, which means that this sales, just go. Yeah, this sales we are talking about. So this will apply to not the headers, which means whatever we will do, that will apply to this particular area. Of course, not the cost, because we then have to change. And what else? Apply to subtotal. Yeah, that's fine. So I mean, there is a subtotal as well here. So that again will be applied if I will do anything. Let me keep this as this way. Okay. All right. So now what we can do? So let's see that. So here the background color, the text color. Okay. So let me change this to text color. Then you'll understand. Yeah. See that. Okay. So this is how it is. So specific color, I mean, if I have to give, I can give. So this for sales, and this for that total. So total, this subtotal basically. If I remove this, you see that, right? I hope you understand the subtotal and the total, right? Subtotal basically is particularly for one category. If you are using multiple categories, total based on the entire, right? That is on the overall process. So if I apply this to the subtotal, this is where it goes. Okay, this is how it is, right? Okay. So I mean, these are the things. I don't think so we need any. Let me just undo this. Okay. So I'll not change the colors. Just wanted to show you. Same way you can do this for the cost as well. Same way you can do this on the cost as well. Okay. All right. What else we have? Cell elements is something. Yes, that's something we can use. So you remember this, right? So we can have this, say, for the sales, like the sales, we can use the background color, or I mean, it's up to you again. Now, what I am thinking right now is that if I prefer this, the view like sales and cost over here, I think for conditional formatting, that will have the added advantage. So let's just go on the top and in the layouts on the style section, under the blank row, I think it was. You always have to search for these things. The blank row, or where was it? In the value section. We can even search actually. So what was the name switch? Yes, you see. So one bonus tip for you. I may have not told you this. I mean, because there are so many things, you can't actually cover all the things. But yes, this option you can use if you know the name of that, because this actually window, they're pretty long windows, so I just want to keep this off. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, this way, if I use the conditional formatting, I think I will have a better, presentation. So you can search always. Okay, you can always search, right? So yeah, so I want to keep the sales. So we have the sales here. So let's say I want to keep the sales as some background color, right? So this is how nicely for the higher values, the color is dark, and for the others, it's dim. You know that anytime I can go on the conditional formatting window and I can add a middle color as well. So, so I'll prefer actually, I think the color is nice, but maybe if this goes like this, yeah. So you can always use this. Middle color, I don't want to use this. So for highest and the lowest, we are fine. So for one section, I'm using this. And for the other section, which is cost, for example, you can in fact use the data bar. We have already covered these things. All right. So then we have the cost. For the cost, because cost is a very important factor. So what I will do, I will use the data bar because I want to show that if the cost has gone up from one certain level, we should have that icon. So click on this. And now you see these, not actually the data bars, and beg your pardon. I'll use the icons, up arrow, down arrow. So we want to modify this. So I'll keep my conditional formatting very simple. So something, let's say this is all about the cost. Somewhere where I have seen the something about 2000, I want to actually be put in, I want to see an alarm. And for something which is below then something, then, you all can do this, isn't it? We have seen this. I'll just go and use one thing, which is the cost should not exceed 2,500. So what I will do is I'll delete all these things and build this from the scratch. And I will just use the number formatting. So we'll simply say that if you're greater than equals to, let's say 2000 and less than equals to, well, based on my data, I think it's not more than 3000. I'll just put here 3000. Because that's the number I see. Or let's put this as 4000. Yeah. And red flag, something like that, you can always use. So yeah, so maybe we can use this one, the red one. And if you have to use more rules, I have already educated you about that. You can click on the new rule and you can have all the segments covered. I'll just go with this one. And now you see that. Wonderful. So we can scroll this and we can see all the cost areas, where actually there is a huge expense, and then we can, of course, find out the root cause analysis, that we call it. We can do that. All right. So this is fine.